Be calling you a radical. So the summer from absolute hell here in Utah, and I mean fucking hell, the 2021 summer was so horrific. So it's finally over. It's finally broke. It went to 100 degrees 2 months early, stayed there. Air quality has been horrific. It's been a fucking nightmare here. We literally went all winter, all spring, no fuck water. Then it come to summer and it just went, we get 100 here in, it'll start to go 100 in July here. Usually later July. Fuck, it went to 100 in late May here. It's been a fucking nightmare. It's over. The summer from fucking absolute hell. Air quality was so horrific. So, to the tide pools. Might as well be tide pooling here in the Weber State. What's the matter, you pond? The DNR, the moose killers. Somebody was looking for some moose. A lot of people just searching for moose meat, apparently. So, let's get to the oil break. This is brand new footage just been released out on the LA Times. So, it shows the rupture on the pipe. Divers in there, sure as shit. Consumption junkies, what's your funk? Make freaking Bezos pay for it. Yeah, well, how are you going to pay for it? Money's not going to replace what was. The tide pools were wiped out anyway. As my footage is shown right there, but oh my God. How much can she take? The mighty blue lady. Really, Ani, how much can she take? So, consumption. Oh, these ports are lined up because these longshoremen won't work 24/7, 7 days a week. Because you're going click, consume, click. I did a piece because Steve Chinese Jobs had died. He's a church mouse compared to the ITers now. I mean, this consumption freak show. And not only that, I don't talk enough about this. The fuel they use in those cargo ships is the lowest grade, most horrific thing in the world besides Fukushima fallout. We're going to get snow here this weekend. Monday it'll snow for sure, it looks like. God, thank God. So your consumption freak show you live in, buy used. Why can't just buy used? Quit participating in this Jeff Bezos, Amazon, freaking slave made, just for, okay, not from the economic standpoint, which from the economic standpoint. What about the morality of it all? Unconscious America. What about, you understand the conditions that this, it's pure. Even Willard here, Mitt Romney says, no way. I mean, the genocide that's going on there, slavery, it's disturbing. And you're consuming this shit. Not me. Buy used. Well, there's always a buy for every action, there's a reaction. These ships are lined. Amazon, the United States is consuming 50% of the world's gross product. 50%. We were considered consumption junkies in 1980 when it was 12. We broke the record every single year. And I wanted to put something out there too, standing right here where the moose was killed, because I did that piece on Gordon Hudson dying, and I was talking about Lavelle and my Uncle Claude. What an athlete that dude was. And I got thinking when I walked out, my Uncle Claude used to win 7, 8, 9 gold medals a year at the senior games every year. And mauled with sports till recently. He's 86 years old. He was a beast. I got thinking, he would even win in racquetball, play doubles in racquetball. Lavelle Edwards' brother's his partner. So I hope Lavelle Edwards' brothers get this, because there's no obituary out. He's been dead for, going on 3 weeks. That's not up to me. But I was very, very close with him. And, he's the famous fighter pilot. And I mean famous. What an accomplished person. He was the #1 guy in the whole theater in Japan for many, many years. I believe he was, I don't know if he's the valedictorian, but close if he wasn't, in chemistry. Big time anti-nuker. Big time. The stories, he knew President Johnson personally. I mean, at the Pentagon, that classified pit. I mean, this dude was something else. And I mean, a multiple sport athlete. The other pilots used to call him the Bull Moose. I remember telling a guy right now, that's his irony, because my Uncle Claude has had a stroke up in Alaska, and he, you know, moose are very spiritual freaking animals, by the way. So are Chinook salmon. Well, I got you. The Chinook salmon numbers, the Stillhead, 13 in the Fraser. That's not. They're even using the Fraser's using the word extinction. You know, so I did some work. What did they have 10 years ago on the Fraser? 48,000. They have 13. The Columbia River had 826,000 10 years ago. They've got 68,000. Runs over. Chinook. I mean, it's a smoking gun. I mean, how much can the Mighty Blue Lady take? So the consumption ships anchor wrapped around the pipe and boat it like a, you know, I'll quote the spokeswoman on this commission they formed. They boat it like a bowstring. Well, Kevin reached into the bag and he slung the stone. And it struck the nuclear giant in his forehead. For I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I fear no evil. You know. So how much can the Mighty Blue Lady take? She's connected to you, whether you think you are or not. In SoCal, the slick has moved all the way down San Onofre. I'm sure it's down to La Jolla by now. God, the pictures of it. Remember those pictures I took this winter with the black oil on the beach? How dramatic those were. You know, there's a little bit of oil that you get naturally leaking out of the bottom. What we're doing to her is disgraceful, and there's never any accountability. I mean, corporate, you know, corporations are people. Mitt Romney, boy, that's the truth. But we never make them pay. You know, oh, we'll fine them. Still $1 billion, pay back $1 million. That's not a fine, that's an incentive. It's the American way. Don't get caught stealing a smack of cigarettes, though. What we are doing to the ecology, and what kills me, I grew up here in Utah, and people here used to be fierce environmentalists. Fierce, left, right, didn't matter where the political affiliation was or anything. Now everything's political. Everything's a football game. Everything's BYU, Utah. What? I mean, red, blue. I mean, it's the sky. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, everything. Everything. You know? Stop consuming. Why don't you start thinking about the morality of things? That's where I go. That's where I've always been. I mean, the debt structure, all the economics of it, whatever. You know? When the doctor looked me right in the eyes, told me I had 2 months to live, and I was in that bone marrow transplant, top of the LDS, it'll be 10 years and 6 days. I sure wasn't thinking about money. You know, I was thinking about my grandchildren. The environment, the ecology. It's the ecology, stupid, because nothing else matters. Where's your crown? So, the Great Pacific Genocide, it just keeps piling on. As I said for years walking on the Pacific Ocean, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, what, God, do you believe it? I fight for her, she fights for we from the sea. She's gonna come, she's gonna retaliate. You think you're a match for her? You're not. Mother Earth, the Mighty Blue Lady, she's gonna fight back. You know what my hypothesis is on COVID. It's a mutation from Fukushima. All I gotta say is tick-tock Diablo Canyon clock. Dodgers won on a walk-off in the 9th last night. They're not playing the Cardinals. They're playing a 107-game win Giants. I never thought in my lifetime I'd be rooting for the Giants, but I always go back to 2012. Well, I like Buster Posey. The money, it's disgusting, it's disturbing. The arrogance of these athletes make me sick. But the beauty of the sport, I was back to '89, the earthquake. You know, my grandson's name, Atlee. I always think Atlee Hammaker, born and raised in Carmel, is Japanese mother. So I asked Rachel, I says, when Atlee's mom named him that, she didn't know why she named him that. She didn't know what it meant. It's Japanese, from what I understand. So there we are in Carmel, right there where Atlee's from, with Atlee. And we found those starfish. You know, what's it fun? He yells, "Code Patrick, Code Patrick." So he was doing a presentation at his school right over here. He's in the 5th grade. And the teacher talked to me about it, and she says, he was talking about his grandpa, the marine biologist, and he gets to go with him, you know, and do the tide pool work. And he says he really gave a great presentation in front of the class and talking about the environment. And remember, he's 10. Born the same month that Fukushima happened. I have another one also that was with me. Those two are a week apart. By the way, my Uncle Cloud adored him. They even remind me of him. She says, he said in this presentation, well, my grandpa doesn't let us get in the water. We don't go in the water. We're up on top, and we don't touch anything in the tide pools. We observe. We don't grab anything out. We're very delicate where we watch, and we observe, and we use our cameras. And we use social media sites to put up our work. How come your grandpa doesn't let you in the water? She asked, and he says, without flawless, he says, just ripped it off. She says, well, there's raw sewer being dumped all over in there, and that can kill you. That's a thing called E. coli. Not only that, there's oil spills all the time, and then we just keep throwing stuff in there. And then he says, but the biggest reason is because of the nuclear disaster the same month that I was born at Fukushima, Japan. The teacher says, wow. What are we doing to our youth? What are we doing to the children of this planet? I mean, no taxes. Billionaires paying no taxes. You know, the Amazon consumption freak show, all they did is backdoor the labor laws, move them to China and, well, all over the world, any place, Indonesia, wherever the cheapest labor is, where slavery is legal, and just ignore the morality. We did the same thing with the environmental laws. I mean, it's disgusting. I mean, if we're not going to fix this economic, Congress sure isn't going to do it. Senator, politicians are not going to save you. I'm here to tell you, politicians are not going to save you. They're not. Trump's not going to save you. Obama's not going to save you. Freaking none of them. None of them. President of the United States is not going to save you. I've got news for you. He's not going to save you. I will always quote what my Uncle Cloud, who passed, used to always tell me. God helps those who help themselves. You know, but how can we help ourselves? Well, stop consuming. Be conscious about it. We got to quit being so political. Forget it. Forget politics. Forget it. Get your mind out of it and just give up on it. Start, you know, looking around at the air that you breathe. Especially after the Great Salt Lake going dry acutely in the last decade. Especially after what we've been through here. The heat bubble over the western United States. What everybody's been up through in the western United States. What we've been through, I mean, the whole COVID nightmare, the environmental nightmare, the weather. I mean, God, we're all tired. We're all burnt out. Our lungs hurt. You know, our bodies hurt. I mean, we've been breathing horrible air. And it's not California's fault because they didn't rake up the forest. I mean, enough of the nonsense. We got a heat bubble over the western United States. Fukushima, hell of a way to boil a planet. We need to come out of denial. We need to keep being political about things and start being logical and rational about things. How long must I sing this song? How much can she take? We all come from her. You know, we have no respect for the Pacific Ocean, then why should she have any respect for us? You know, it's disturbing how we treat our ecology, how we treat the animals, how we treat the environment. I mean, we're just so arrogant about everything. We've turned into nothing but the world's big bully, bullying people all over with our airplanes and our. I mean, my uncle was a famous fighter pilot. He didn't like those F-35s. Oh no, you should have heard him go on that mouth on that. He used to, I mean, anti-nuclear. You're talking one of the most famous fighter pilots in the history of the country. I mean, the summer from hell, and that's what it's been, 2021. God, what a nightmare we've been in, huh? We're all tired. We're all burned out. We need to come together as a people, especially here in Utah. Quit fighting over the dumb shit. Start giving a shit about our air and our water and our youth. Quit throwing this debt onto their back. No taxation to the gazillionaires, the billionaires. Just pile it on to the future, deeper and deeper and deeper. Look what we're doing to our youth. It's disturbing. I love my grandkids. You know, I'm gonna fight for them. It's like somebody says, why do you keep fighting so hard, you know, with this cancer and everything for the environment? You know, why do you fight for all these people the way they are? I says, who said I did? I was fighting for any of them. Fighting for my grandchildren. Fighting for the Pacific Ocean. Fighting for the animals. You know? What a nightmare. Nobody seems to give a shit about the environment. Money, 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 greed. What's that money going to do you? Really, what's that money going to do you? It's not going to do you shit. You know? You need to get your priorities set back in place. You need to replace them. Church leaders, they need to pull their heads out of their asses and start to get back to, you know, if you're going to be a Christian, then be one. If you're going to be Christ-like, then be one. Throw the money changers out of the temple. Buy here, payday. God, it's disturbing. Jesus died so I could be rich. The prosperity God, that shit needs to go. Mormon Inc. needs to go. All this does. You know, Joel's seen all these freaks, 40, 50 million paying no tax. It's disgusting. Who's going to pay for all this? Our kids? It's ecology, stupid. It's disturbing. It's really disturbing. I'll be back in California soon. You know, I'm headed down there ASAP. Waiting for my uncle's funeral. I don't know how that's playing out. It isn't up to me, you know. It's up to me, but it's not. So I just do the dirty work. Stay tuned.